episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Broads, I'm so excited.
So am I, and honestly, you guys, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're welcome, because for this BIP finale, we have...
Thank God we are not just like recapping this like normal.
I know, because what a snooze fest. Could have been 1 hour, no problem. So I was like, Becca and I were texting each other, we're like, thank God for the gift, because today we're joined by Blake.
A gift. Wow. Thank you. I've never been called a gift before. Yeah. Love it. No, I'm happy to be here, guys.
We are so excited to have you on. Like you were saying before we started recording, I'm like, this is a long time coming. We have, I think we've said 5 million times in our episodes, we're like, we need to have
at
Blake
least
on.
since like 2019.
And in typical me anxiety fashion, who doesn't check DMs very often because can't function if I do, missed your DM.
Oh, Jess, I've lost us dozens of opportunities as well.
I stay out of my DMs as much as possible too, though. So I get that. It's a scary place in there. But yeah, I don't know what caused me. I think one day I got like 20 DMs from people being like, you need to go on Chatty Broads, you need to go on Chatty. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to DM them.
No, you were gracious. You were like, hey, I don't know why I'm getting blown up all of a sudden by these people.
It's like, what did you say about me?
Yeah. No, it was definitely us. Again, per one of the million times we were like, we need to have Blake on this podcast.
The broads are really powerful though, because remember Colton also, like we had blown up Colton and Colton DM'd me like kind of like that and was like, hey, apparently I'm supposed to come on your show. Then he bailed on us, but whatever. It is what it is.
Understandable.
It's probably a production thing, but you are not under any contract.
No, I am out of contract. Thank God. For a while now. So
did you get any like cease and desists while you're
so many?
You just unraveled the scroll in front of us.
I just got one like 2 weeks ago. Oh man.
Are you serious? Yeah. How? Like, how are you still going to get one if you're not under contract?
Well, and so like I was doing an event in Chicago. I was doing a DJ set in Chicago, and like I get why this was bad, but they actually used Tammy was going to like guest bartend, and they actually used the Bachelor in Paradise logo to like promote it. And I was like, that's a little bit of a rookie mistake. Okay. Yeah, so I was like, of course, I'll get him to take it off the poster or whatever. So, but yeah, I've gotten quite a few to say the least. So yeah.
So are you kind of like a little bit blacklisted by them?
I think so. I don't know. Sometimes it's like if they think, if they can use me or like I'm good TV or whatever, I think they'd come back. Yeah. But for the most part, I think for the most part, I'm kind of like I remember I had a conversation, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, about like, going on to Paradise this season and stuff. And we had the conversations and some testing. And honestly, one of the producers, like the high end producer, he was just kind of like, we feel like you don't like us. And I'm like, well, I kind of don't. Like, there are some of you that I don't like, Yeah. So yeah, I think to a degree, maybe I'm more or less blacklisted. But you never know, there's been other people that have been blacklisted, and Kaitlyn Bristow is a prime example. They hated her for a very long time. Now she's hosting the damn show. So you never know.
That is so wild.
Wow. Maybe I just have a shot again one day.
I know. Becca, we're going to get her back and we're going to get her on the beach.
Did you know we're like specifically not allowed to, like we were on for the little while, like the blacklist of podcast to not go on.
Oh, I'm on that list for sure.
Oh my God. Yeah. This makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's like 3 of us.
Not alone. My biggest issue was I would just always go on podcasts that like I was lazy and like in ADHD fashion was like, I don't need to get this approved. I'll just like go on it and it'll be fine. And I won't say anything crazy. And then
ask for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. Ask forgiveness later. Exactly. Yeah. That it didn't really work for me either. No. So, kind of blew up in my face.
You're like, well,
exactly.
Okay. So you were potentially going to go on Paradise.
Yeah. There were some conversations had. I went through some testing. I never got the like, hey, we're going to fly you out on this day. Like I never got like a plane ticket, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some conversations had, and really, I was down to like right before people were starting to leave, and I ended up just making the decision and being like, I just can't do this. Now, do I know if they would have actually got me down there? I don't know.
Sure.
But I just kind of texted and was like, hey, like I appreciate you guys having the conversation and everything, but like I'm just not in a place. Actually, I was like, I am in a good place, like professionally, emotionally, like mentally, that like, I don't know if I want to put myself out there like that again. So it just didn't work out this time around. If it will ever, I don't know.
It's scary. I remember feeling that way when I was considering doing Paradise after The Bachelor, and I was like, dude, I got out alive, you know, things went really well. Nothing's guaranteed that things are going to go well again, ever.
No, ever. In fact, usually it doesn't. If it went well the first time, it doesn't go well the second time. 100%.
Yeah. You don't have the option for the villain, the reconciliation moment. It's only downhill.
Do you have any regrets about like going on Paradise last time or not really? Like what are your feelings on all that?
No, not really. You know, obviously like that was one of the hardest, probably the hardest time of my life.
Yeah.
But as far as like regrets, like I'm not one, and that's so cliche, but like I'm not one to have like regrets. I think I made a lot of really cool friendships through it. I think if I was to regret going, like, I don't know if like Hannah and Dylan would have ended up the way they did. Kaitlyn and Dean would have ended up the way they did. Like all these people are very happy coming off the show. And like, I don't know if I had like an integral part in that, but like, if had something gone differently, they may not be together. So it's like everybody except me kind of ended up pretty happy and well off. So no, I don't really regret it. And now I'm in this really cool profession where, I'm DJing all over the country. I have a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that would have happened had Paradise gone a different way. So.
Yeah, true. It's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
Who knows where everyone would be now? So that's awesome.
Yeah. If you would have gone on this season, who's the person who you'd be interested in?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't think I've been asked that question, actually. Look at you guys. No,
the blacklisted ones.
You guys always ask the best questions, the blacklisted ones. God, that is a good question. I mean, obviously, like, Becca. Like, I feel like, that would have been something that, would have been interesting. But other than that, what's crazy is like, I didn't really know a lot of the girls that were going down there. Like personally, like we never really chatted or anything. The girls who I would have been interested in ended up going down there, and like, whether it be like Victoria Fuller, like, Maddie or Hannah or any of those girls, Kelly, those girls who I had talked before and I thought were pretty cool. None of them went. So I don't really know other than Becca.
Do you have any insight on why they didn't go?
I don't know if Kelly was asked. Like, I think she's kind of been blacklisted a little bit. So I don't know if she was actually ever officially asked. But the other three, I think they took the same road you did. Like, I got out alive for the most part.
Hell no.
I'm not going through that shit again. Yeah, I think that was kind of there. And I think they made the right decision for sure. Except it would have been good TV to have those three down there.
Oh my
much
goodness.
better TV.
Yeah, it really would have been.
No, and like Victoria, I think she's a great example too of how she's really built up her like social media platform and like the opportunities that she was sort of given coming off of Pete's season. Like she's really knocked it out of the park. So I think it was kind of smart of her to like preserve the corner that she's in and go
Agreed.
for it.
She would have made incredible TV down there.
It would have been fantastic.
But at the same time, like she has no filter. And I think she would have said some things that she probably regretted down the road. So I think it was definitely the right decision for her not to go.
Listen, here's the thing. This Bachelor in Paradise finale, it was so slow. And I feel like I don't know how you felt, Blake, but we were both like, this season was, there were moments, but in general, it was like, But I will say, at the end of the day, pretty much all the final couples are engaged. And then even beyond that, then there's Noah and Abigail, Becca and Tom.
There was a lot of couples that came out of this.
There was a lot of couples.
I think there was 6 I saw, or 7 maybe even. I was like, wow. Like when you actually look down on paper, I'm like, damn, maybe this was a successful Paradise season. We'll find out.
There's this question of maybe when it's a little more boring, the love comes and maybe the hecticness and the chaos.
Mm-hmm. There was far less this season, like significant love triangles and such. I felt like
Agreed.
The ones that we saw were weak.
Yes. Yeah. Like there wasn't like a huge where like somebody had a really good connection and then somebody comes down. Like I feel like all the very strong connections from the beginning, there was like no drama for them, other than Kendall kind of coming down the stairs for Joe. But other than that, you're right. Like all the love triangle, like, you had like Natasha and a couple there that was like not really. And then you had like Mckenna in one or Tia in one. Like, I don't know. Yeah. There was like not really.
Demi and Mari with Kenny,
the Demi Mari.
Like,
Yeah. There wasn't that like deep emotional connection love triangle that was happening.
And even with the Kendall thing, like just based on like little DMs with her. And also, can we talk about how chopped up that scene was with Joe and Kendall last night?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
That
whole thing.
Heavy
I don't
sus.
know. Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I know Kendall didn't have any maliciousness in her heart and everything. I love Kendall. I think she's an amazing woman.
Yeah.
But like, at the same time, like, I don't think Joe needed her blessing. Like, I don't know how the producers got her to go down there. Like, I don't know what the producers said to Kendall to go down a second time. First time, fine. But the second time for the proposal, I was like, man, I wonder what they said to her to get her to go down there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what someone could say to me. Like,
No.
And that means she was down there hanging out at the hotel. Like, I don't think she went home and came back.
Unless it got real dark and one of the producers was like, Joe is distraught and feels like he can't be happy unless he has your blessing.
Exactly.
And then she felt like she was doing him a favor.
that would make sense.
That seems more in line with Kendall, in general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, broads, interrupting our wonderful time with Blake for a moment to have a little chat. So, for all of you who don't know, all wine is absolutely 100% not created equal. I mean, just walk down any wine aisle in a grocery store and you'll find dozens or even hundreds of different bottles at different prices made with different grapes. Every single one will taste different. A lot might even surprise you. And because tastes are all individual and personal, you would probably hate a lot of them, honestly. So stop leaving your wine choices to chance when you can join First Leaf Wine Club and every bottle is a hit.
That's right, because First Leaf uses their custom algorithm to learn your preferences and taste based on prior deliveries and your feedback. So as shipments come, they only get more and more tailored to your liking. I used to be someone who'd only buy bottles of wine largely off the look of the label. Don't lie, you'd probably do it too all the time. And I can confirm my bottles since joining First Leaf Wine Club have been substantially better. I'm actually enjoying the bottles I'm getting.
Same, and not only better, I've actually discovered so many new varieties of wine that I would have definitely passed by in the store because they were unfamiliar to me. Now they are some of my favorites, but if for some reason you do get something that you don't love in one of your shipments, First Leaf has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will credit your account for the full amount.
Join today and you'll get 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping. Just go to tryfirstleaf.com/chatty. That's 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping at tryfirstleaf.com/chatty.
Wow, what a deal. Also fantastic for the holidays. Great gift.
Yeah.
Great gift. So story time, broads. The other day I was driving, and by driving, I mean my husband was driving and I was riding in the passenger seat to my parents' house, which normally is a 2-hour drive thanks to traffic. Ember was asleep in the back. Evan was on a work call, and I was so glad I had Best Fiends on my phone because I needed something to pass the time with, and that really did the trick.
Okay, I am bitter about this little road trip because it did put you way ahead in our competition.
What
That's
can I
besides the point. Best Fiends is the best mobile puzzle game out there because in the game you play through a real storyline to beat the bad guys, and by solving puzzles, you'll collect other cute characters to bring with you through the game, and there are literally thousands of levels to get through, and they add more each week, so no matter how much you play, there are always new levels to discover.
I love it because no matter how much or how little time you have to play, the game is just fun. If you have 5 minutes between Zoom calls or 2 hours in the car, you'll have a blast either way. Nothing makes the time go faster than a few levels of Best Fiends, baby.
Download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's Friends Without the R, Best Fiends, and it's free.
I hated seeing Kendall get some hate up through all that, which some of it I get, like, but at the same time, it's like, I know she had I knew she was going down there just to wish him luck and everything. And they used her for that preview, walking down those stairs for the preview so that people would watch. So it was kind of brutal to watch, but
I agree. And I think that was what we said earlier on the season. I think that was a great example of do not trust that. I was just like, producers have always been on her side in the past 2 seasons that she's been on.
Yeah.
And real hunky-dory friendships, love, everything. And then it seemed on this season that kind of turned and there was a little bit of a twist in those production relationships.
I talked to her right before I went out to LA and we were hanging out before it aired. And I was just kind of how did it go? And she was just kind of I don't know, we'll see. I cried a lot, but I don't think she expected quite the edit she kind of got, from the whole thing. So I haven't talked to her since. I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks, I should say. So I don't know how she's feeling now, but I agree. I think when you think they're your friends, that's when they got you. I think that's when they got you, when the you're like, oh, the producer's my friends. I'm like, ruh-roh. It's going to be bad for you. Unless you're on unless you're on a Bachelor Nation podcast. Yeah, that's way the experience I had.
Yeah.
Was I thought they were close friends. A week before I went down, I was the producer who at the time came and did my package, if you will, for Paradise. I started to hear rumblings of what they were going to fuck me. I called him about 4 days before and I was like, I think I'm going to back out. I can't do this. And he was so like, bro, you're the golden child. We'd never do anything. If anything, we'll get you off the beach and you're the next Bachelor. Yeah. Insane. Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And the whole time they clearly had all of that planned, from day one. So
Bro.
Wow.
Yeah. Bruh, yeah. It was like, yeah, we never do that. Yeah.
I think, I don't know though, but like, are you still close with like any of the producers? Do you ever like check in with them and like that kind of thing? The
only producer I'm still really close with was my producer who was on the Bachelorette, and she had a baby during Paradise, so she wasn't there. So it's like really the only producer that I'm super close with. I'm also close with the producer who at the end of Paradise was kind of with me through a lot of the hard times. But I went through roughly like 3 or 4 producers within the first 4 days, because once they lie to you, you don't trust them anymore. So they got to get you a new one. So I went through like 4 producers, like boom, 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 within the first like 4 to 5 days. And then I got one who was with me the whole time, and she's great. She actually left the show now, but she's great. And I saw her in LA recently. So you try and be like acquaintances with these people, but it's hard at times. It's hard.
It's really hard. And then you also like, I don't know. I was really close with Bill throughout my season of the Bachelor. And it was hard because then we had like a lot of moments also like off camera and outside of interviews where we're like talking about our lives, and like our dreams and all that kind of thing. And like he recently called me like, 6 or 7 months ago to ask for advice on something. And so it's a very bizarre, complicated thing. Granted, he and Alana are no longer, with The Bachelor. Producing their own shit now, which I don't know if you watched F-Boy Island, but I thought it was so good.
I want to watch that. I haven't. I heard they got signed for a couple more seasons, so I'm excited for that.
I only heard good things.
Yeah,
so blessings
I heard a lot of
upon
good
them.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things.
Well, this season, okay, let's talk about the big things that happened during this finale.
Yes. First, it was like the 35-minute breakup of Abigail, the official breakup of Abigail and Noah. This to me was one of those portions where it was like, hey, we got it on the last week's episode. It was very extended.
We're still talking about it. I was like, I
feel like they broke up last episode.
Yeah, I was like, I'm confused. Where are we starting here? I'm like, can we cut back to Aaron making out with Tia, because I'm still extremely confused what was going on.
And we never got
some more.
We never really got any clarity on that.
No.
Also, let's just talk about Noah and Abigail as a whole, because I'm sure, as you've seen now, they're in love.
Yeah, they're like madly in love.
Yeah,
that video.
The video so that was the thing. So at the end of this episode, we got a little bit of like a Real Housewives-esque ending where they told us where everyone was at.
Why didn't they do the live?
That's a great question. I was wondering that too. I don't know if they're all off filming now for The Bachelor and they couldn't, because they were filming The Bachelorette when they would have filmed the reunion. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because that was so strange.
And they have a week in between too. Bachelorette doesn't start for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, I know. We have an empty week, which is very rare for the show. So
you'd think that they'd want to follow up on their success stories.
Do you think maybe they filmed it and it like, no, there's no way. I was going to say, I felt like I saw people coming to LA and I was like, maybe they filmed it and then just like didn't use it. They're like, well, this is as garbage as this season was. Let's not waste another spot.
I remember hearing before though that it wasn't happening like a month ago. So I don't think they filmed anything, but I found it really strange, especially because it hurts some of these because people want updates, people want to see who's still together, who got back together. And we just didn't really get that this season. It's kind of strange.
And again, like I would think that they'd want to show off their success stories because so many turned out, but
especially Becca and Thomas, I
know.
Okay.
Maybe they're trying to push
Abigail.
Maybe they're trying to push people to the Bachelor affiliated podcasts. It's like, you want to find out more? Tune in.
I feel like this whole season of Paradise was pushing people towards and making money. They can make another, income stream through those podcasts.
We're going to keep Natasha on as long as possible. We're going to make sure Becca doesn't leave this beach without finding love.
Yep.
But so with the Abigail and Noah piece, so at the very end of the episode, it says that they're back together and slowly moving forward. Like it didn't make it seem like they were like over the moon for each other. But then she posted that video and it was like this like beautiful montage to their relationship. I'll say this, I was shocked. I'm like, there's no way that they're together after this.
What were your thoughts, Blake, on them throughout the season and how Noah handled it and blah, 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 and then where they are now?
So I felt like I felt like they at the whole season, other than the beginning, we had like maybe the first episode or 2 episodes we got to see them, but then they were kind of in the background a lot of the season. Like they were almost like the Kevin and Astrid of a couple seasons ago, where they just suddenly, they had this huge storyline where they broke up, and everybody's like, "Wait, I didn't know they were that close." You know, it's like this weird thing.
Right.
So I felt that, but I did think they had a good connection and everything. And I agree with you. So I was like, oh, they're like, I kind of heard rumblings they were together or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Like they seem great together. But then I watched the breakup, and there were some things said during the breakup that I was like, damn, can you come back from that? You know, and he was like, you're not my person. And he was like, you know, like, it wasn't like, hey, you're not my person in this environment, or, hey, I'm just struggling in this environment. You know, I got my walls up. It was like, you're not my person. And that was like, I was surprised he kept saying that over and over. So the way they're back together, whether it be the montage or the like video she put together, that was a bit of a shock that they're just like so strong right now, for sure.
Did you guys see the like rumors that Noah was told to break up with her or something?
Oh, yeah.
Thoughts?
That definitely happens. Like, it definitely happens. I think Becca was told to break up with Thomas too. I don't know that for sure. Like, I don't want to, that's not a clickbait headline. Yeah. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, I mean, that definitely, but that definitely does happen. I think producers are like, listen, if you're not going to get engaged, like, break up, you'll get the screen time, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not with Noah and Abigail, but that definitely happens. Definitely.
I think also people don't understand how that really works. Like with production, they're like, oh, what? Someone's just going to tell you to break up and then you do it. And like and then you're faking it and you're acting. It's like, no, it's a lot more nuanced than that. And there's a lot of things of like, well, you know, you don't want to be wasting there's a lot of emotional manipulation that goes on. So I think people don't understand that someone may feel like they are making an autonomous decision, and they might have just been coerced over the course of days or even weeks to be led, you know, like a horse to water to that decision. And then after you come out of that bubble, you're like, wait, what the fuck was I doing?
That is such a good point. It's like, I think the biggest point you made was like, they don't just suddenly put you in an ITM and they're like, you should break up with her today. They've been working on that for weeks. Like they put that little mole or whatever you want to call it in his brain, and he slowly got bigger and bigger as they like toyed with him for weeks. So yeah, I agree. It doesn't just happen overnight. Like it's something that they work towards.
Honestly, thinking about it from that perspective, like if I was on this show, it would be like leading a horse to water every day. I'd be like, okay.
Girl, same. Why do you think my paradise went so bad? I'm the most gullible human alive. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
I'm just like,
I trust everybody.
Interest. Thank you so much. I would just do anything because I'd be like, well, friends, right? And
you know, it's the stuff I've talked about before of like, I remember off camera moments of Alon being like, you know, there's just something I noticed like when he looks at you that and you think that's a genuine conversation.
Of course.
So
why wouldn't you?
You know, it's like you're influenced by all that stuff. So that being said, I don't think it's like, oh yeah, production told Noah break up with Abigail and then he just did it. It's not that simple.
They don't say, because obviously I'm sure the one question you get all the time to Becca is like, is it scripted? Like, no, it's never scripted. They don't tell you what to say, when to say, how to say. What I always say is like, everything you're watching is real. Like whether if we're crying, if we're laughing, if we're mad, we're angry, we're not actors, like that's real. But over time, like you've always been kind of like put in that situation to have that reaction. And then they can then edit that in post edit. So what you're watching is real, but like I might be crying at something else or I might be laughing at something else. You know what I mean? So that's what I always say when people ask me that question.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was a scene in like a preview that I was on where I was sobbing into my hands and I recognized the shirt I was wearing. And I was literally talking about my relationship with my parents, like in a 3-hour ITM that had nothing to do with the show. Yeah. Oh, I mean, they never used the clip in the actual show, but like in the preview, it's me being like, and it's me talking about like Christianity and my parents, you know, it's like having a therapy session, not talking about The Bachelor, you know, it's kind of crazy.
Wild.
I always explain it as like situations. You know, situations can be manufactured, but people's reactions to those situations are what is very real.
Yes, very genuine, very real. I remember, I mean, obviously I've talked before about like how like when I ran to the bathroom to go pee because they don't let you pee whenever you want. And fucking producers made it look like I was running from Kaitlyn. Like that's a good example of it. And then I remember when I had like a complete meltdown come like the morning after I had a complete breakdown and I was like begging for a psychologist. You know, I was like, I need to talk to a psychologist. And they're like, she's not here. She's not going to be here for like an hour and a half. Cause the hotel's like really far away.
Sure.
And I was like, well, I'm in a bad spot right now. Like I'm going to freaking like I need something. And they were like, well, come in the ITM. And at the time I literally was so desperate to talk to anybody that I agreed. But if I could go back, I would have been like, fuck off. Like I am not going to sit in front of a camera and have a breakdown, and that's when all that crying came and all those moments it was like an hour and a half interview until the psychologist came. But if I could go back, I was an idiot. Like I should never have been like, yeah, let's have a fucking therapy session on camera,
Oh my God. That shit's crazy. Now my feelings with Noah and Abigail, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say with the Noah and Abigail piece, like you were saying, Blake, like in comparison with Kevin and Astrid, at the end of this, when I saw Abigail's video, my thought was like, clearly we were missing something during this season.
Sure.
Same way that they got voted most likely to leave together. I was like, excuse me, I haven't seen it, because pretty much when we're talking about effort, I'm like, Noah made the effort to lay on the daybed, the big pillow, the other daybed. I was like, well, I don't know. I have no idea what was happening with them, but clearly there was something, because everyone was like, they're so close, they're so close, they're so close. And now here they are together.
Yeah. But I think they're like 17-year-olds, and I think they're annoying is the conclusion I've come to. I used to like Noah, and now and when I got from this video too, sorry, unpopular opinion, I'm like, I counted 14 different alcoholic beverages in that video. I think that they're just drinking and making out and acting like, they're in the summer in between high school and college, and that's all fine and well. But do I think they're getting married? No. And that's what I think about that.
And that's what I think about that. So the whole breakup thing, like when Abigail was kind of like, I feel like led on, or didn't you say, or like lied to almost when he could, that was interesting to me, because Abigail, it was crazy when Abigail kind of froze when Noah was like, I'm in love with you, or I'm falling in love with you. And Abigail said nothing back.
Right.
Like that was a crazy moment. So I don't necessarily blame Noah for feeling the way he did. I don't know. That was just a weird breakup to me, kind of, more or less. I think they just really literally had bad communication. I just think they didn't talk often, enough. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's what it seems like. And like you were saying, Becca, like the young energy, I was like, that was a little bit in the breakup. What it just seemed like to me, he says he loves you, you don't respond because you freeze. And then he's panicking and going, I don't think I feel this way. That's what it seemed like.
He was one of the few people in that episode, though, where I saw actual tears streaming down his face.
And we've never seen that before with him. So it was surprising.
Or even with Abigail. Abigail and Thomas, there were some dry eyes up in this bitch is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that was
I don't know if they were dehydrated.
Very possible, because it was pouring out of their foreheads instead.
But just didn't notice that.
Yeah. Like you were saying, though, Blake, too. What I wrote down immediately, I'm like, oh my God, when he was in the car leaving and he was saying, I don't know why she thinks that I was misleading her or leading her on. And then he was like, we're definitely like not soulmates. And I'm like, oh my God, listening back to that now would be top tier painful.
Right?
Hope she didn't watch it.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't, or maybe he told her, he said some things that he regrets. I don't know, but I agree. There were like there were some words that he used that I was like, damn, that's like
it was very
like that's the end of the relationship.
That's the thing. It was very like, you're like, oh, you really nailed that in. Like that was not just like, I don't think it's gonna work. It was like, this will never work. We're not soulmates. Goodbye forever. And you're like, oh,
like the timing is wrong. Like most people leave the door open a little bit, like the timing's off, whatever.
Crack.
But
She's like, I guess you're not my person. She's like,
no, but they seem in love now, so we'll see. I mean, like everything, you never know. Like I'm done trying to predict relationships because I'm always fucking wrong. I'm always wrong. Yeah, the only one I did, honestly, which is crazy, Dean and Kaitlyn. I fucking knew they were going to work. I knew they were still going to be together for a long time. I swear, I knew it on the beach. I was like, I went to Bill and I was like, they're going to work. And he's like, I know, it's kind of a weird, huh? I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
We said either 5 months or 5 years. We said that. They were like, yeah.
Oh my God, 5 years. Can you imagine? They break up after 5 years. That'd be horrible.
Oh, that would be.
Well, that was our prediction. We said, just to bring it up again, we said they're either going to crash and burn after 5 months. This is fucked up. We were like, or they're going to last like 5 years and it's going to be the most devastating, soul crushing breakup.
That was our prediction.
That would be horrible. Oh
sorry. Don't want to put that energy on you, Dean and Kaitlyn. I hope that you're very much in love. Let's talk about the
Let's
Dean
talk
and
about,
Kaitlyn.
I'm sorry, no, nothing personal, but let's talk about the worst possible host choice for the Bachelor in Paradise finale.
Okay, Blake, you had some powerful words on your Instagram live last night that I was like, this makes sense to me about who, like your question about why them.
Because I agree. It was just strange to me. Like, again, nothing against him personally, whatever. I know, but like, why people who had broken up on the beach didn't get engaged, didn't have those hard conversations where it was like, do we stay? Do we not? Do we go to fantasy suites? So that was just like, why not get, I mean, maybe they did ask him, I don't know, but like Dylan and Hannah, I heard they did ask Raven and Adam and they couldn't do it because Raven was pregnant, but like, why not get somebody who's actually had those hard conversations?
Cute.
Yeah. So that was confusing for me. And then they weren't very good at it. I don't want to
I'm like, did they do camera tests? Like, what, dude? Why would you make this choice?
It was pretty funny to watch. And I think that's just because maybe they're not good on camera. Like, I just don't think they're good on camera, which doesn't mean they're good or bad people. Like, I just don't think they're good on camera. But yeah, it was funny because you watch like, I don't know, Kaitlyn and Tayshia and all these people and you forget like, oh, they're good. And then you watch somebody who's like, bad, good. And you're like, bad, and then you're like, oh, Kaitlyn and Tayshia are good at this, or like Wells is good at this, so it's kind of funny to put it into perspective.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Didn't understand why they started out with like the first episode, with like David Spade, and then we ended it out with like a Bachelor couple that are clearly not hosts. That's what was confusing.
I felt like it was like if my mom was single and I was young, her dating a bunch of different men. I felt very like thrown around, like in the way that I was like one host and then the next day another host and then the next day.
We were just connecting. I was just starting to bond with him.
I was just trying to get to know you and then you leave. And I'm like, okay, like I like, especially with Wells, all of a sudden when he's coming in at the end, I'm like, Wells is going to stay the whole time. I have some sort of, somewhere to land softly. And then Dean and Kaitlyn are doing the walk downs to the proposal. Yeah, and I was I don't know you guys.
That was the shocker. They were there being like, how are you? How are you feeling? For the proposal. I'm like, what is happening? Why doesn't Wells do that? I don't know.
No, if I was one of the cast members, I'd be like, I don't know you. I just met you yesterday and you're here during my proposal. Can Wells come down for a moment?
I wonder how much they got paid.
Yeah.
Part of me, if I remember correctly, this could have just, maybe he made a trip to Mexico, but they were in the van. He was driving through Mexico already in his van. They're literally he just had his van. Like, he didn't get flown in. Like, he had his van, him and Kaitlyn. So maybe they were just like, oh shit, and like scrambled. I don't know. But,
production's so fucking cheap that they're like, Jade and Tanner said they would do it. But Kaitlyn and Dean, they're right around the corner. They're in Puerto Vallarta. Apparently, I saw on his Instagram, so maybe you just drive.
It was supposed to be like, what's the American Idol host's name? Why can't I think of it?
Ryan Seacrest.
Like, it was supposed to be Ryan Seacrest, and he got like food poisoning. So now they're like, Dean, get in here now. Yeah, I don't know.
And again, it's just like, they're just not meant to host, which is fine. Not everybody is, but it was a very strange.
I will say it was a testament to when people are just like, they're acting. I'm like, well, clearly these two weren't.
That's so true.
Because that was brutal to watch. This was a very real thing that we saw on the sand.
Also, I'm sorry, in light of like recent news stuff that I was being sent, I also don't know why they're hosting when like one of the people in this relationship like doesn't like saying the word I love you, and also it doesn't like refuses to like propose and get married. Yeah. Isn't that kind of like another bizarre choice?
The production really loves Dean a lot. And Dean's an incredibly charming guy, charming and very intelligent and everything. But I remember even when he got on the Bachelorette for his season of Rachel's season, I think his whole motto or his whole like intro was like, I don't believe in marriage. And it's like, well, why are you, like, it is a very strange, like story arc that Dean's had in Bachelor world.
Yeah. Right. It's like, True. It's like God bless. Like if like, we're all about it. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. Like, whatever. It's just with the premise of this show. And then that they were specifically hosting the proposal part. It just felt like a strange choice.
Also, though, he doesn't want to get married, but I read that they had a commitment ceremony and they have commitment rings.
He definitely had one on. I didn't see Kaitlyn's, but he definitely had a ring on. I don't know what's going on.
But that's not marriage. That's just commitment.
maybe she didn't have a ring
Right.
on because, like he was saying on his podcast the other day, that production was trying to get him to propose.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So
Which-
maybe they were like, Kaitlyn, take the ring off, and then she was like, hello.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh my God, this show, man. This show. Well, how about that moment when Dean was like, he said that line or whatever, and Kaitlyn like looked up at him and was like, yes. And I was like, oh my God.
No,
I was like, did she think this was happening? Like, I don't know.
He said, he said, like, do you want to get engaged? She's like, yes. And he's like, I was like,
Talking to them. Yeah.
Again, if I was a
man.
cast member, I was just like, first of all, I don't know who these people are, and now they're fighting in front of me passive aggressively.
I bet, like, do you think that the hosts are like do you think that they were like talking to production like individually too, like producers? Like, do you think that maybe she was led on to believe that he was going to propose to her?
I feel like
I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. Like, I'll put nothing past them.
I mean, I do feel like he would have said that in his podcast if he was like, Kaitlyn
True.
thought, and then or it's like maybe she was like, please do not share that because that's pretty rough. But yeah, like I said, he definitely was like they were trying to push the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Which
his
doesn't
proposal.
surprise me.
Really?
Yeah.
They tried to push. I remember Jason and Kaitlyn to get engaged on that like whatever show. Maybe they did the GOAT show or whatever they did, like the greatest of all time seasons or
Yes.
whatever.
Oh,
They tried
yeah.
him really hard. They tried to get him to come down to Paradise and have Kaitlyn like be there, as a host and like stuff. Like they tried
Wow.
hard to get that love story on television. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Good for them. Just
Exactly.
being like,
That's
no.
why I love them so much, just because they just were like, no, we don't need you. We'll do it on our own,
They do it on their time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I love that.
And Dean's doing it on his.
Okay, back to the couples on the beach.
Yes. Okay.
Other couples on the beach.
So we end up having the non-cocktail party rose ceremony situation. So everyone's like, oh my God, I don't have the time to talk to the person about how we're moving forward. I have a question. It's very confusing to me why this is then like a worry for everyone, because I'm like, don't you have like all day to talk on the beach to each other? Or are you constantly just apart because of filming? Like, I would think that this is a possible conversation. I'm like, I don't know why I'd wait till the cocktail party.
I mean, I haven't been in Paradise. You have, so.
So I haven't been quite that long where it's like those, like the last rose ceremony, almost the second to last rose ceremony, but they'll find a way to keep you apart. Like
Okay.
They found a way to keep me and Kaitlyn apart so that she would blow up on me. I didn't see, like they kept Kaitlyn away from everybody. They kept me and Christina apart a lot. So
Yeah.
they'll find a way to keep you. If they think your conversation, like you need to have a conversation and they want you to have it either on camera or they want you to have it down the road, they'll keep you apart, whether it be in a 4-hour ITM or whatever it is. So they have their ways to like make sure you don't have that conversation either without them or at the time that they want it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I remember like in the mansion on The Bachelor, especially when there's so many people, there's only so many ITMs and cameras where it's like you're either in the ITM or you're getting ready, like doing your makeup and hair, or you're like waiting for the ITM. And so there's like all these like sort of wasted limbo hours. And they also don't want you to have conversations off camera. So if like they're spending all time filming for the day in ITMs, then yeah, they're going to like have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That then makes sense to me because I'm always that's a moment I'm always confused when I hear them like, oh, I didn't talk to them and now the cocktail party. I'm like, I don't understand why you didn't talk earlier. Like, makes sense.
Are the men and women, are the dorms like separated? Like kind of on other sides?
They're separated, like, yeah, more or less other side. Or like, I think we're on the bottom and they're at the top. And then in the middle is like where you get mic'd. So like we see each other when we get mic'd in the mornings. But yeah, for the most part, you're pretty separate. And then at night for those rose ceremonies and everything, you're separated the whole time. Like other than the cocktail hour, you are completely separated from like 2 p.m. until like the cocktail hour. You're very much separated. Yeah. On the rose ceremony days. Yeah. Big time.
Interesting. So that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then the surprise for the rose ceremony was that James, not that who they gave it to. That I feel like we saw that coming, but that they decided to give a rose and to try to move forward was surprising to me.
Yeah.
James gave his rose to Anna, and Thomas gave his rose to Tia. Oh, and then Ed.
No, you mean
Or
Aaron?
sorry, and then
Aaron gave his
Aaron
rose
to Tia, and then Ed to Mckenna.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about those individuals.
Let's talk about James with oh my God, my brain's glitching. I get Mckenna and Anna so mixed up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. Like, they don't even really look alike.
No.
But I cannot, in my mind, like literally after Mckenna left after the Ed thing, and then Anna popped up on the screen talking about James, I was like, didn't she just leave? Like, I was so
gone.
confused for some reason. Anyway, James with Anna I was shocked. I was like, this man survived for weeks.
It's incredible how,
By the
I
skin of
still
his
don't know how he
teeth.
did it. I still
Legend.
don't know how that man did it. He was a day oneer to the very
Legend.
end, having zero relationship. Like, he must be just a nice guy that everybody kind of like likes to have around. I don't know. It was
For real.
He is a legend. He's a Paradise legend. He's going in the Hall of Fame. Jersey's hung in the rafters. I'll tell you what.
1,000% he's coming back next year. Like, there's no way they're not going to bring him back next year.
Incredible.
I don't even know how he was a day oneer in the first place. Like, I'm just thrown off by this whole thing. Wait, before I forget, even though this wasn't about last night's episode, Blake, I need to hear your thoughts because I was listening to the Chatty Bros recap of last week this morning as I was driving over. Thoughts on the Ivan producer phone situation?
Oh,
tell me your theories.
gosh, that's a good question. So I was very confused by it because producers, for the most part, are not on their phones, especially when they're like around you. So I don't know what my theory is, but I find it hard to believe that they left it open. I think obviously Ivan had been talking about Alexa. They ask you all the time, who do you want to come down the stairs?
Yes.
Who are you looking for? Blah, who are you excited about? He clearly mentioned Alexa a bunch of times. Now, do I think they put the idea in his head to like go to Alexa's room? No, I don't think that necessarily happened. I think he did, I don't know, have that decision on his own and like make that effort. But I find it hard to believe that they left the freaking room on the phone. Like, no way. I don't know. Yeah, it's strange. It's strange.
This was my theory, and I want to know your thoughts on it. I think that a producer, actually, it's funny. Bill, when we were like in the hotel, he was always on his phone actually around me, like always like texting, being like, oh, 1 second, like always on his phone. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Like a lot actually. So my thought was, I wonder if a producer, okay, this is how I think they set him up. Because I was like, that's a ballsy move to like have the room number, not only have the room number, and then be like, I'm going to chance it and go. I think
wild.
That, yes, they've been talking about Alexa. I think that the producer to him was like, man, I don't know if we're going to have time for Alexa to like be able to come down on the beach. I know it's really disappointing for you. And, but maybe you guys can like pursue something like later. We've only got 1 week left of Paradise. It just doesn't make sense. I think it was like that.
Oh, man.
And then I think it was like, whether it's, oh shit, I got to go get this from the other room, or I got to go to the bathroom. You throw it on the bed.
She drops it right in front of him. Here you go.
It's like, but I think it was like, oh fuck, I'll be right back. Like, and I think that it was left open on the screen, the Google spreadsheet or whatever the fuck was up.
And her name like highlighted.
Yeah.
You go through the sheet, and find her. Like, it's crazy.
Or maybe like it was a text message exchange where someone was like, hey, like with a handler, like, hey, what room is Alexa in again? Like, she asked for champagne, and then it's like, oh, she's in 103, and then they left that open. But I'm like, no way in hell, you wouldn't even know where to look on someone's phone.
No.
They're making it seem like he was going through it, and he actually, there was a clip where he was like, well, I was just there. Like, he said something like that, where he was like, I didn't go through the phone.
Yeah.
And if the odds of it not being quote like a plan, more or less, are astronomical. Of like all of that not being planned, Like, just insane.
I mean, honestly, impressive if it wasn't. Like, he really did it.
And as Gray brought up, like locks on the phone. Like, oh, it's someone. No one has a passcode on their fucking phone.
Well, that was the thing. So
a producer doesn't.
Some Bachelor affiliated podcast that I was listening to, I don't remember who it was, said apparently they took the lock code, or it was Wells. Wells was like, they took the lock off because everyone has masks on, so it didn't do the face reading, so it was just like quicker. I'm like, how long does it take to put in four numbers?
How much are they paying you to now keep up this facade?
Charade.
Yeah, this charade on podcasts.
I'll tell you, and like you said, it is so ballsy of Ivan to then do it, to not only see it, but then do it. There was a moment on my Bachelorette season where Becca whispered her room number to me. But I was so terrified. No fucking way was I going to go and find her room. It crossed my mind, but I was like, no way, you kicked off the damn season. So it was just, that was ballsy.
Running into like a handler or producer in the hallway,
And at that point, you like worship them, you know what I mean? Because you're like best friends and they like control your life basically. So like, no, man, it's crazy to me that he did that. Crazy.
All right, broads, one more quick pause. I am so guilty of taking 1 million adorable photos of my family or fun memories on my phone and then never, ever doing anything with them except posting to social media or keeping them in a digital album. I know I'm not the only one out there with a phone full of unprinted photos. And if you want to finally do something with those digital memories, send them to FrameBridge.
You guys, I love that we're talking about FrameBridge today because literally just yesterday I was using FrameBridge.
Yes.
And I've used it multiple times. First of all, just going off for a second, to frame original art, posters, all that kind of thing. They'll send you a special package to ship to them so that they can frame your art or your your original art, your original photographs, whatever.
They
make it so convenient.
They make it so convenient. It couldn't be easier, honestly.
Yeah, so they make it anyway easy, affordable, and you never have to leave the house, which I love. You can add a gallery wall to your home office or send the perfect gift from art prints and diplomas to the photos sitting on your phone. I'm about to get my diploma framed through them, actually.
Yes.
You can FrameBridge just about anything. And oh my gosh, October is Gallery Wall Month at FrameBridge, which means they're featuring the launch of 6 new gallery wall layouts. I just ordered a freaking gallery wall layout yesterday for my neighbor's little room makeover. And oh my gosh, they have these ideas for like eclectic, 3 groupings of 3 or 4 frames with the exact layout. And they'll send you all of the stuff to hang it on your wall. And they're just combinations I would never think of in terms of like frames and layouts and sizes.
It's so
and all
helpful,
that.
Especially for someone like myself who doesn't have the eye. It's like, it makes it so much easier.
And it's really simple. It's like, oh, this one's for a 24-inch by 36-inch space, whatever. Anyway, I'm obsessed. The holidays are coming. This is great for grandparents with family photos.
And they deliver it right to your door. Honestly, ready to hang. It could not be easier. Echoing everything Becca is saying. And again, great gift. Great gift. Instead of the hundreds you'd pay at a framing store too, by the way, can be very expensive. Their prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. Plus, our listeners will get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when you use code CHATTYBROADS.
Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code CHATTYBROADS to save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com. Remember, that's promo code CHATTYBROADS. Framebridge.com, promo code CHATTYBROADS.
So, broads, in theory, creating your dream living space should be fun. It's what we're just talking about. It should be fun. And if you've ever tried to buy furniture and refresh a tired room on a budget or even just decide which design aesthetic you'd like, then you know sometimes it can be anything but fun trying to sort between the thousands of online sites or figure out where to go in person or deal with delayed delivery times. All of those things can really put a damper on creating your dream home, but that's where Article can help.
I love this because you could just revamp a whole room with both of these sponsors, get new frames and then get new furniture. Article is seriously a lifesaver and our favorite place to shop all of our home decor and furniture. They combine the curation of furniture boutiques with the ease of shopping online. And instead of sorting through thousands of options that can make even the most seasoned shoppers feel defeated, Article's team of designers focuses on just a few modern design aesthetics to help simplify your search.
And we save the best for last, the prices, okay? Because Article doesn't have physical stores. That means no showrooms, no retail markups, okay? So when you buy from Article, you'll save up to 30% over traditional retail prices, and shipping is fast and affordable and even free on orders of $999 or more. I have a few pieces of Article furniture in my home, and they're gorgeous. Also, always quite astounded by the quality. The quality is just so good. I'm always just wowed every time I get a new piece of Article furniture.
And Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Just go to article.com/chatty and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/chatty to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
So wild.
It had to be set up. Okay, anyway, so other couples.
So James and Anna.
Irrelevant.
That was, it wasn't surprising how that one ended. And then Okay, so let's talk then James and Aaron and like the Tia situation. I saw in your IG you were like, this is the most produced thing ever, but in like a fun, lighthearted way. It's not hurting anybody. And it felt like so that way to me too because of Tia's reaction. Yeah. That it was like she was dying laughing and it was like, and the speed in which he like runs over and is like, I gotta go. And it's like, okay, no. Yeah. But it was, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was just lighthearted and harmless, which that's okay, especially where we're having very serious conversations. Like, let's throw in some funny stuff in the middle of all these, intense moments. So yeah, it was clearly scripted and, the boys had fun with it and Tia took it well. I think she may maybe have been on it. I don't know. But yeah, I think it was harmless and lighthearted.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a perfect way to wrap up their ending together.
Yeah, and honestly, Tia and Aaron didn't have anything like serious. They had just met, just talked for the first time like 24 hours before.
It was like, what is going on? Obviously, Aaron's talking to Tia to stay there with James, and I was like, 1000%. The other one was just waiting to see what the first one would do when giving away the rose. So James went first. He gives the rose to Anna and Aaron's like, I guess I'm staying. Yeah. So I'll give my rose. And then when James is like, I want to leave. Let's go back to San Diego and party. Aaron's like, peace out. It's time to go home.
No hesitation. He's like, let's do it. He's like, well, I got to go dump Tia first. I was like, what's happening? Oh, it was great.
I did love the swiftness of that. It was fantastic.
Sprinted.
Okay. So Ed and Mckenna.
Yeah. What did you think of how that was handled?
So I've met Ed. I've hung with Ed. He's a funny guy. He's kind of a little awkward, and like socially awkward. And I think it showed in this conversation because she clearly was not into it. She was like, no. She handled that well. She was being very like, I don't know, mature and like nice.
Diplomatic. Very
diplomatic of her being like, I know, like, stop asking. I don't want to be with you. But he just kept at it. He did that for the date too. Remember?
Yeah. I know. And we thought it was a one-off. We were like, oh, it was cute. He was having like an Adam Sandler rom-com moment of being like, come on, what's just one day?
Like you're saying, Blake, I'm like, it seems like he's a little, he's a little socially awkward. And so I'm like, oh, he sees that she's sad. She had pulled him aside. So obviously he thinks at least she's potentially interested in me. So I'm going to like make sure that she's doing okay. And then when this happened, I'm like, oh, God, make it stop.
Yeah, it was livid.
It was hard to watch. And like, again, she handled it well. Like, I'm surprised she didn't be like, dude, no, like, stop, Like, yeah, exactly. Leave me alone. I don't know. It was weird in the way he was like, I got dumped, boys, or whatever that was, like yelling to the boys. I don't know if he was just desperate. I don't know. It was weird. I get where it can kind of come off like a little... In a little way.
It was just guy at the bar vibes,
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, maybe buy another drink, one of those kind of like, come on.
Stop. Like, I do, like, please.
Yeah. I'm like, please don't make me lash out because I'm trying to say it nicely to you. I'm not interested.
Yeah, that was just the thing that bugged. I was like, dude, she doesn't owe you to even be like this nice. And then it was like, stop trying to like steamroll over that like very nice rejection. I bugged me.
And on top of it too, like you were saying, she handled it like she even just initially her rejection of him, she was like super kind. But then she also, what I appreciated is she was very direct, which I always appreciate because I assume if I was in that situation, I'd be a little bit like, well, and trying to tiptoe around it.
Marissa kind of did that with Connor earlier in the season where she was like, and kind of giggled and he was just kind of like, what?
Yeah. I would probably honestly be trying to do a little more ghosting, which is kind of impossible when you're in that.
It's very hard in that beach. But I always like think what I would do in that situation if I was that. Like sometimes one of my faults is like I have a little bit too much pride, and I would have been like, okay, peace. Like I would have like almost begged.
Bye, bitch.
I'd be like, oh, I don't need you. Like that sort of been my thing. Would be like, all right, peace. But yeah, he was kind of like almost begging, It's kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Total guy at bar vibes. You're right.
Oh my God.
And what made me a little uncomfortable too is like, well, he already was able to weasel his way into a yes like the first time, like 2 days ago. And so he's trying to do the same thing. And I'm like, dude, no.
And like what I was saying is like she very directly was like, hey, just so you know, I don't think that we're going to have anything moving forward.
Like, you don't want to go to fantasy suite? She's like, I don't that.
she's like, I don't. She literally said, like, I don't feel a connection with you like that. There's like no. She basically looked at him and said, I have zero chemistry with you, and he's like, but we could work, and it's
He's like,
no.
"But-"
And he's like, so I guess I'll see you afterwards. And then she had to, he put that woman in a situation where she had to look at him and be like, no, please do not contact me.
Block my number.
She's just like, producers, can I have my phone so I can hit block on all social media platforms?
Oh man.
It was just like, oh my God. She said she turned you down in such like a kind, direct way. Just don't.
And what's crazy is she's 23 and he's like 37. Like she, she was the very mature one.
Dude,
in that.
How young does he look? He's like 37 years old.
Yeah.
Wait,
Shook
really?
to the core.
Yeah, he's like
I actually thought he was
38,
like 28, 29.
So did I. Yeah. No. Oh, he's closer.
No, I really don't like that at all.
Yeah, that was a hard pass, and I would like to send love and light to Mckenna. We love you. They quarantined you in that goddamn hotel room.
She was
for
shafted.
100 years, and then they made you come out for 2 days, and then Ed would not let you go. Oh,
She had her little manifest dream light bracelets on. She was like, yes, I'm going to own this beach. Poor
we
thing.
did chat with her for a minute, and she did say that she had a balcony.
Oh, she did.
She had a
Good for her.
balcony. Yeah, we
Got
were
a
like,
That's a big
sunlight in
deal.
there.
Like that's a big deal when you're quarantined for
is.
like 14 days. Yeah, like fuck, man, that poor girl. Anything who comes in late, I just feel for her. I'm like, they stand no chance. It's just
No.
brutal. After the first like 5 days, if you come in, or 6, the first 2 rose ceremonies, if you come in after that, like it's trouble.
And you know what that says? Like, what sucks about that too is like, oh, girl, they were trying to break you. They were trying to put you in a situation where you can have this big emotional.
and I have to say, from Peter's season, I assumed that Mckenna was going to go on the beach and just be an emotional wreck the whole time.
She held herself together.
I was shocked how she was so strong.
So strong.
But she was
So brave.
just like so low key, handled it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then handled Ed, and then just left and was like, I'm out of here. There was no like, I didn't have my moment, which I would have been bawling, being like, you quarantined me for this long and now I have to deal with this.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Impressive.
Yeah, she did well.
Okay, couples we need to talk about that we need to cover just in general. Joe and Serena, Becca and Thomas,
Mari and Kenny,
Mari and Kenny,
and Riley and Marissa.
and Riley and Marissa. Those
Yeah.
are the last 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to start, Blake? Let's let you choose.
Let's just go ahead and start with the Thomas and Becca stuff.
do it.
Since I feel
Let's
like
do
a lot of people
Let's do
don't
it.
want to hear it. And honestly, like at this point, like I don't try to talk about Becca a ton because honestly, anything I say is going to be clickbait.
Yeah.
Like I feel like anything
Totally.
I say is kind of going to be taken out of context and stuff, and whatever it is. So honestly, the only thing I'm going to say is I get why Becca had some walls up. Obviously, like she's
Yeah.
been engaged twice in this environment. On this show on television. So of course there's no way she was getting engaged. There's no way she was getting like the last infinity stone. And it was going to be like, she was going to be like,
Oh my God, yeah.
no way.
No.
So
Eternal life.
yeah, exactly. She like snap her fingers and everybody imagination like goes away. Like, but like, I feel like, oh God, I can't remember. I went full Marvel there. That wasn't good. Never go for Marvel. So I get, like Thomas and her had to have had a conversation, right? Like she had to have been to Thomas at some point, like, hey, this is great, but like, I just want you to know, like, I'm not going to get engaged down here. I was a little shocked by his reaction because not only do I think they had had a conversation.
You do think she had that conversation?
I think she did. I think at some point, like, there's no way, like, and everybody knew that, like Joe even talked about it a little bit, like, no way she was getting engaged down here.
Yeah.
And so I think they definitely had at least some sort of like, hey, we can leave together, but we're not getting engaged. So maybe he was still thrown off by the breakup itself.
Yeah.
But also, like, I feel like, I don't know, Thomas, we didn't see a lot. They were kind of even worse than Noah and Abigail. Like I thought they were edited out of the whole season. So maybe that's why it felt like, whoa, what is happening right now? The way Thomas was reacting, because we didn't see their cute moments. We didn't get to see a lot of their connection. So I think all in all, I was just kind of shocked by the way Thomas was reacting. I think Becca was a little bit like, she seemed very cold, right? She was like kind of like cold almost.
That felt very like production nudged to me. Very much so. Like that seemed like the clear, I don't know, just my perspective, that seemed like the clearest production thing. She was just like, especially the reasons, right? She was like, I haven't like seen like you, like I haven't really gotten to know you. Which I get, because that was I said on my Instagram story, that was the realest I've seen Thomas in both seasons of the show.
Becca said that too. She was like, this is the Thomas I wanted to see.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Right. And it all really does add up, because that was kind of Katie's issue with him. That seemed to be the guy's issue with him. They were like, who are you? Because he does seem to, you know, we had talked a little bit about, I listened to him on a podcast, and he just seems kind of like a serious guy, and you know, protecting himself, and has like a guard up and is very like positive, but you know, people clearly don't feel like they're getting to know him. So it makes sense then why she was saying that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think people, and I've talked to people from the season, and I think the biggest thing they say about him is like, we don't know if he's real or not. Like he's almost says everything so perfect, and he does everything so right. Like it's almost comes off phony. Now I don't know if he is phony. I don't know him. And you know, obviously like people, I mean, Becca clearly doesn't think so. And I trust her judgment. So I wish him all the best. And you know, from their posts, or I think she posted a video.
Yeah.
They seem friggin' in love, head over heels, you know, like I think Becca said like third time's a charm or something, you know?
Well, and she also said in her car, which was shade, she was like, my past two fiancés certainly didn't say that.
Ooh,
about
a little shade
about what did he say? He was like, I don't know what she was referencing. I forgot.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't, but I do remember her saying something. And with it isn't, again, odds are astronomical. She has fallen in love 3 times in this, and she's 3 for 3. That's insane. To fall in love 3 times on this show, and some people don't fall in love at all or even get a connection. She's 3 for 3. If this works out, you know, with Thomas, that's insane.
Well, technically it's only 1 for 3.
Right. But I guess she fell in love, if you will. She fell in love.
Yes,
you know, whether it worked out. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's crazy to think that she's fallen in love 3 times in that environment.
I think the environment is good for her.
Yeah. And some people it is very good for. You know,
and I think the producers really like obviously love her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's a very symbiotic relationship, Becca and the Bachelor franchise. And I say that with zero shade. Like, I just think that it really, the relationship between ABC and production and the Bachelor and Becca are like, they are one.
Well, I agree. And no shit. And I'm glad it worked out. I think Becca deserves to be happy, and I think it seems like she found it. So
okay, you said though at the beginning you're like, oh, obviously Becca, and you know, I guess I'm not keeping up, but why did you say like obviously Becca? You were like, oh, when we said who would you be into on the beach?
Who do I want to? Just because like, you know, they're obviously I've been in love with her before, you know, so it would be something that I would want to, I don't know, like. I don't know if test is the right word, but I'd want to revisit, I guess. Yes. You know what I mean? That would have been something I would have wanted to revisit. But yeah, it didn't work out. Didn't happen.
Were you ever trying to revisit it?
I don't want to comment on that. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest.
No comment.
Anything I say. Good. That was good work though, Becca. That was some fucking good podcasting right there.
Okay. I literally know I've only heard like, the reason I ask is I've only heard like hearsay from this person, from this, like no one even in the Bachelor world is people being like, oh, apparently something.
But yeah, it's just like this. Yeah, at this point, it's hard to like even comment on it because I know. Like, like, oh, look, Blake's jealous and he's trying to destroy their relationship. That's not the case. Yeah.
So. Are you guys on speaking terms now?
I think we're like friendly. Yeah, I think we're friendly.
Fine. Yeah. You're fine.
I mean, I'm going to be at Ben's wedding here soon. Ben Higgins' wedding here, and she'll be there. So I mean, I think we're friendly. Yeah, we're friendly.
You think you're
I think we're friendly. I guess we'll find out. No, but we're friendly. We're friendly.
I think we're good.
You're gonna just see me in the background of all these people's videos at the fucking wedding, just like crying in the corner, fetal position.
Just like zooming into the video, like, oh my God, is that Blake?
Like, look at Blake again, crying again, sweating and crying again. Oh, fuck.
Oh man. Okay, wait. That actually, speaking of sort of like extra TV relationships, what about the Abigail, Dale, Clare situation, which we didn't talk about when we talked about what the fuck is that?
I didn't talk about that either. Am I?
Wowzers.
Wait, I'm okay. For listeners who are like not, you know, aren't seeing weird Bachelor pages on their Explore page, like I'm constantly being bombarded with.
First of all, God bless you. What is it like?
So Clare posted tell me if I'm missing anything. Clare posted on her Instagram basically a breakup post about Dale that wasn't a breakup post about Dale.
Yeah.
I won't be speaking on my breakup with Dale, which I'm very mad about, was like the post. and she tagged Abigail in the post, and sleuths were able to say that Clare did not remove Abigail's she tagged her in the photo. Yeah. Clare didn't remove it because it would have said edited on the post. So which means Abigail removed herself from the photo.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Oh, that's so true.
Wow.
God, sleuths are good.
Sleuths are good. Too good.
So good. I remember. Yeah, very impressive. I remember. So when I first heard, because there was like rumors going around that I guess why they were broken up, whatever, Dale like hooked up somebody. I don't know. Some kind of rumor, but I had heard it wasn't her. I'd heard it was like other people. Like I heard like 3 other girls before. So maybe Clare was like, Clare was like, I'm making sure it's the right one. I don't know. It's all very, I don't know.
I mean, if there's a lot of, if you're hearing in the circles about a lot of rumors about a lot of different individuals, you never know if it was numerous individuals, but that's one that Clare, like you said, it was maybe more of a confirmation.
Claire's also,
but that
from
was
what I know, she seems very hot-headed too. And so maybe Abigail wasn't the girl.
And I don't know if we'll ever know. Like, I don't know if we'll ever, like, I don't think Abigail's going to touch on it. And I don't,
hell no.
Dale won't, so, and when I said a bunch of 3 other girls, I don't mean he hooked up with a bunch of other Bachelor Nation. I mean that I heard multiple names for the one hookup.
Right. No, and I'm not saying that he was hooking up with other people too. I was saying like the idea of the names are swirling around, and then this is the one that Clare was like, this is the one I confirm.
Yeah. And they were also on a break.
If they're on a break, like, is it?
No, it's
I had heard that it was that was in question. I mean, whether it was the break time or not the break time.
And that's I think that's the whole thing of it is like, maybe he'll say it's on the break. She's saying it wasn't on the break, whatever.
A very
messy.
Ross and Rachel
situation. It could have been. I think it was handled very well by Abigail, where she just didn't even fucking comment on it. Because it's going to be forgotten. It's going to be forgotten quick. And I think Dale even not commenting on it, like, it's going to be forgotten pretty quick.
I mean, wow, bravo to their PR team, like, or themselves or their PR team. Because I'm like, best call. Don't acknowledge now. Yeah, because Claire's post too, it was her and like a photo of her and her mother, their hands, because her mother's struggling.
So messy, dude. I'm sorry. That's so messy. Even if he cheated, like tagging the girl that your man cheated on you in the photo of your dying mother. I mean,
agreed. It was a lot. I remember it going. Can you imagine what Abigail, when she saw that tag? I would have had a fucking panic attack. It would have been rough.
I would have been hospitalized.
Straight up. I would have immediately booked a vacation and been like, I'm out of here.
You have to imagine. I mean, I imagine that Clare was probably then hitting her up via DM and text. Like, I imagine that there was some precursor to that.
I hope there was.
I mean, who knows?
But then also someone messaged me saying that, like, apparently Noah was commenting on the situation. Then Abigail was like in the background giggling.
Yeah.
What was Noah saying?
I actually don't remember. I don't think I listened to it. I just heard like you did.
It was just kind of like hinting at it because it was the day that everything broke. And then he filmed an Insta story where he was like, so I heard like there's been some like crazy stuff going on. And then you just hear Abigail in the background laughing.
Yeah.
So
messy.
I don't know. Very messy.
It had the potential to be incredibly messy, but I think it was handled well. Yeah. Sure.
And, honestly, best timing for them is that it happened to be like on a weekend full of other news right before the finale and before the Instagram shutdown. So a lot of other things are taking,
that's true.
like,
the gods were working in their favor.
They really were. They really were. And now they can post. It's like the day after they can post that Noah and Abigail are together and people are happy for them. It's like,
I have a hard time believing that Abigail would know they were together and would sleep with Dale.
Yeah, no.
Agreed. Abigail seems like a sweetheart. I mean, I don't know personally, but yeah, I would be shocked too.
I also don't know of anyone who even isn't a sweetheart in Bachelor Nation who would know what kind of hot water they would be getting themselves into by doing that.
Clare scares me. Clare is one person I would not want to get on her bad side. She is one like. She seems like she's the most loyal human, but if you're on her bad side, you are dead to her.
She's a grizzly bear, it's like loyal to the cubs in the family.
Yes, she is a very powerful woman.
Yes, very powerful woman.
And it is, like you said, if you're friends with her, nothing will ever come in your way for the rest of your life. Like you are solid.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't even think about the point of like who would take a risk
That's very bad publicity. That's
not
bad
a
for
good
your
look.
Instagram career.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that also, of like them, speaking of Instagram career, of the little credits being like, and Natasha has 460,000 followers.
The shade. Producers hate Brendan.
Oh, do they?
Fucking hate him. I mean, they
Obviously.
must. They must. You fucking must. Good God. Oh man. Any chance, like we talked about, like, you know, these Bachelor Nation podcasts, like any chance they have to like pitch, you know, Natasha, Joe, or Becca, they're gonna take it. Yeah.
I thought that was bizarre though, that it was like, I mean, it was kind of a profound moment of this acknowledgement of the clout though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I was shocked that was the little description that they used for her. Shocked. Because obviously thrilled for Natasha that, you know, at least through the drama and horrible Brendanness that she had to deal with, that this at least came out of it. But the fact that was her little like caption, I thought that they were going to say something like, you know, Natasha is out there meeting people and like enjoying, you know, whatever, something about her, but it was just to the followers. I was like,
you're right.
Okay.
It's like they talk about how much it's bad to worry about followers, and they post the following count for like Natasha. You're right.
exactly.
here's her ad, by the way.
Yeah,
Give her a follow.
Go follow Natasha and Clickbait Podcast or whatever one she's on.
Link to swipe up. So, okay, speaking of that, I have to ask you a quick question about this. So your season was the first to really acknowledge any outside relationship, DMing, whatever.
Breaking the fourth wall. if you
Breaking
will.
the fourth wall. And that came to the trauma of numerous people on the beach. And now this season, all of a sudden, we take this direction where everyone's, you know, freely talking in front of the cameras about Instagram followers, but then denying that they actually ever met in person, even though they
It's
had.
ridiculous.
What was it like for you watching that because of what you had to experience?
It was, at times it was a bit frustrating, because I think it was frustrating for me to watch too, because I know a lot of those people down there, and this was like on my season too, had talked, had hung out, had hooked up, and yet they're over there trying to like judge, or had gone on the show for followers, you know, just like everybody does. And then they're over there like killing people for it. Now, what Brendan and Piper did was obviously like, you know, they shouldn't have done it. Like it breaks the quote unquote laws or rules of the show. But where they really fucked up then was the way, like, I think they would have been okay had they not then talked the way they did. And then Brendan treated Natasha the way he did.
Right.
That was, I think, the like, you know, punch to the throat. Yeah. Was the way he talked. Otherwise, I think they would have been okay. But like, hey, listen, we were in love. We wanted to go to get a free vacation. Blah, blah, blah. I think they would have been just fine.
Obviously, Ivan was doing it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well,
a lot of people do
Becca
it.
even said it. She even said it to Thomas when they were having their sit down. She was like, I just thought I was going to come here for like a vacation to hang out with some new friends. I mean, that's what was said on there. So I think you're completely right. I don't think the public would have given Piper and Brendan shit for it either. People were excited about their relationship and how it was going to play out in paradise.
And I think, the only difference too, I mean, there is a difference between what happened. I think the biggest thing, and I always say this, is because people are like, why are you so mad about producers? You're not the first one to get fucked over, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I think I am, and I might be wrong, but I think I am the only person who literally, like, what did I do wrong on the beach? Like nothing. Like my entire quote unquote villain edit was produced and scripted and narrated by the producers before I got down to that beach. That was the frustrating part to me. It's like, you need to own what you did. I was like, if I did something on camera and everything on camera, like I would own it, you know, if I said something wrong, whatever. But it was like, they created this whole narrative of me being like a monster.
I stood by you, Blake.
Thank you, Becca.
For the record, I stood by you through thick and thin that season against the odds, against the mob.
The mob.
I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it was brutal, and you know, I'm better now and everything, but it was hard. It was hard at the time. That mob is relentless. But yeah.
The only purist on the beach to me was Joe. Joe was the pure one who came on, I believe, with no one in mind. See what happens, maybe reboot my Instagram a little bit. And he was blindsided by love in a beautiful way.
I actually do too. So I do know that Joe was excited for Serena, but I know they hadn't talked. But he was excited. He was like, you know, I'm kind of the Serena girl. And I was like, Cause I didn't, she didn't blow me away on Matt's season.
Yeah.
Like, and she didn't get like she kind of had a weird edit or, weird, like, I feel like she wasn't even into Matt very much.
Yeah.
So I was shocked, but I was like, that might work. I talked to him a few days before, but he did not expect to fall in love. He did
or to get engaged.
Yeah, engaged. Yeah, he told me, and this is okay to say because I don't think people go trying to, I'm going to get engaged. Like that's not their case. But he was literally like, bro, no way, I'm coming back engaged. No way. And then when I heard he did, I was like, damn, he must be in love. Like Joe just doesn't just do things like that. Like he must be in love, and I think he really is, which is exciting.
I mean, talk about beating the odds. You're talking about Becca. Joe has had now 2. I mean, even though it didn't work out with Kendall, that was by all means and a successful relationship, right? Mm-hmm. A healthy, full of love relationship up until it ended. I consider that very successful. And he's now had 2 very successful relationships off of the night one guy.
The night one guy.
Yeah, the night one guy.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to him on my, like that night one. I didn't even talk to him.
I forgot you guys were on the same season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. I was on the same season as him.
Wow. Talk about a legend.
For real. For
Started
real.
from the bottom,
And then, oh my God, honestly, how fucking dare. Now, then the whole Kendall piece, while he was about to propose, my heart was like hurting so bad for Kendall. Again, assuming my thought was like, oh, the producers are probably telling her he wants to hear from it. And then my heart was hurting for Joe because I'm like, the idea of getting so nervous before a proposal or even just being so confident and then the stress of that. And then they throw your ex and you have to have a conversation with her.
Ruining your special moment.
And you could see it. The way that he proposed to Serena was a little like, it was a little bit like.
He said to her, like, my ex was just here.
He's like, my ex is here. And then he was like, yeah. So he literally then he tells her that and you can tell he's like agitated. Obviously, anyone would be. And then he's kind of like, yeah, so like, I love you and you're great. And
here's
and
the
it
ring.
was like, it was a little, it wasn't super warm and it was abrupt, but they're so in love with each other.
Yeah.
But it was like this poor guy. And then poor Serena having her moment in her white dress, looking gorgeous like she's about to get married and huge smile. And he's like, by the way, my ex just walked onto the platform before you. Oh my God. And God, the way she handled it. Like an absolute goddess, just like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I would have thrown myself into the sea. I would have been like, fuck the show. They keep bringing her down.
Start flipping the bird to the producers.
Yeah, just go drive away on a jet ski, just like, fuck this.
So obviously I have picked out a rose on this show. I have proposed on this show. And I put myself in that position where I was like, I can't imagine like standing there because the nerves are insane and you pick the ring and you're all excited. And then like your ex walks down the stairs. Like I couldn't, he handled like, so I can't cover my facial expressions are like insane. And so he was just kind of like stone faced and just kind of like, he's like, motherfucker, like these sons of bitches, when he did it, like, I wouldn't have been able to handle it, man.
He must have kind of expected it. You saw him of all, like you said, like motherfucker. These, they did it. They did it. No shame.
It's like, he's probably in his hotel room the night or like, getting ready or whatever, just being like, I bet these fuckers are going to bring out Kendall again. Wouldn't that be crazy if they brought her out? And then it's like, are you kidding me? Like,
it was one of those, like, are you kidding? Like you could see
it almost would have been better if they never brought her on the beach. No, well, they were trying to fuck shit up earlier, but what if like they never brought her on and then they brought her on? Like that would be great.
That would have been so wild. That would have been so really wild. Crazy. Well, they seem very much in love.
Yeah, honestly, you can tell that they're a healthy, happy relationship because of how bored I was at the end of seeing them. I was like, get them off my TV.
They're so smiley. They're just so smiley around each other,
Yeah, they're really, really.
They
I
really
catch myself smiling. I'm like, damn it! Like,
yeah, they're smiling really cute.
They're like top level comfortable, where you're like, oh, it seems like you two have known each other for your whole life.
Yeah,
that kind of energy.
And there was like photos that her sister posted of them like cutting a little engagement congrats cake, they're very, very cute. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Now, who I believe to be the actual purist on the show is my king, Kenny.
Oh, King Kenny.
I didn't expect you to say that.
To me, he is the purist on the show in the sense that this man never wanted to get engaged, didn't think he was ever going to be in a relationship, didn't think he was ever going to want kids. And he keeps saying that. like, I truly believe Kenny went on the
I
show
gotta go look at their Instagram.
initially for a good time. It's like, I'm going to go on. It's quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm used to being on the road with my boy band and I'm fucking bored. I'm going to audition for this. I'm going to be quarantined up. It was fun. He was dramatic on the show, on Tayshia and Clare's season. And then he comes on here and it's just like gonna be a good time. And he like couldn't, like, what in his conversations with Mari, as a viewer watching Kenny's mind explode, being like, this is love? I never thought I would say I love you. And I believed him so much. Like, it was like, oh my God, you're truly experiencing love for the first time.
I think that's true.
Yeah. Had I picked, so again, Kenny was another one. I was in Chicago days before he left. And I picked two people to not get engaged this season. It was Joe and Kenny. And they're, I think, like, madly in love and surprising themselves that they're in love, you know, like they're shook.
Yes.
Like, what just happened? Like, this ring on my finger in weeks. Like, what the fuck? It's cool to watch. It's cool to see. It's cool to see.
It is. You're right. Because it's like, then you know that it's not contrived at all. You know, it's like that it's probably what they might have been avoiding, actually. Yeah. And then here it is. And they can't escape
looking
it.
For it. Just the way that he carries himself too. When he was talking to her and he was just like, listen, here's the thing. At the end of the day, very aware that you're 25. I can tell. And and you haven't had the life experience that I have because I'm 40. Are you sure you're down to like go? I mean, it was a very real conversation.
The amount of times he said, are you sure?
Yeah, he was like, please let me know now. And then when she said to him, hey, listen, I have a lot of my friends. Yeah, do they like to go out and party? For sure. But that's not me. I was expecting Kenny to be like, if you don't like to party, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, because Kenny doesn't party. That's the crazy thing. He's like a boy band manager, but I DJ'd at his club a couple times. Didn't have a drink. Didn't go out after. It was done as soon as I left the stage. He went home.
A true professional.
He's what I would recall, and I don't know this for sure. I'd like to guess this, but he's a retired fuckboy. And those are the best kinds of guys. When you have a guy who's done it all and he still has the charm and the good looks and all that kind of stuff, but he's ready to settle down. I think that's Kenny. I don't know if he was a fuckboy or not, but honestly, I'd like to think that's what he is.
He's seen the world. Well,
he's
been around.
I think he even said that I've had a lot of like life experience. Mm-hmm. Come on. I mean, honestly, Kenny, he continues to surprise me and I stand forever.
Two age gap couples also, by the way. Big age gap couples.
That's a good point. I am just shook at the story arc that Kenny did on the beach what I did at Stagecoach, and this motherfucker like this guy got a great edit and got like in love and an amazing happy ending, and I was sitting there like, wait a minute, he's like slept with multiple people on the beach on camera and like everybody's okay with him. Like, what is that?
True.
Honestly, Blake,
crazy story arc.
I'm so shook right now. It's so true, just to show you what editing can do.
Yes,
you're fucking right.
Yes.
Because
had he not ended in a happy relationship, he's a villain. But since he ended engaged, they made sure that they had to do that edit. 100%.
Wow.
100%.
So true. So true. He would have completely been the main, especially because every woman was coming down and wanting to go on a date with him. So it would have been just so easy.
But Demi kind of helped with that though too. I feel like the way that she handled everything also helped with that. That edit.
Yeah. Sure, but they could have definitely made it look like when she was saying to him, like, we slept together and now you're, I mean, that could have very, but in fact, now that you say that, Blake, considering every woman was coming down and asking Kenny out, not that I'm saying I wouldn't, but it was surprising that of all the guys, all the women were coming down. It does almost seem like they were setting him up for that villain edit and then had to change it last minute.
It's crazy what they can do in that post-edit room. Yep.
And finally, Riley and Marissa, they're in love.
This is some of the strongest couples I've ever seen come out of Paradise. And like Marissa and Riley, I think are one of the strongest I've seen. They just seem so infatuated. Like I've never seen somebody so sure as Marissa. She was just like, I'm spending the rest of my life with this man.
I love him. Yeah. Crazy. She's like, I love him. I love Riley.
So direct, so in love. Obviously.
We had to have more food moments.
They can't let the food go.
More whipped cream and
more whipped cream.
It was nonstop.
Low budget date.
There was a few of those this season. They're just so openly sexual, and I love that about that couple. You know, they were like, "Yeah, we went to the boom boom room first night." Like, you know, then they got slut shamed. You know, America's fucking bunch of prudes. But like, I just thought they handled everything so well, and they were like open about how they were feeling sexually. And I love their relationship.
They really did. And that was so refreshing this season. Like Riley and Marissa and Kenny and Mari too. Like,
true. And now they're committed and they're together and
I liked that they not only showed just the sexual parts, but they also showed like Riley, like that incredible line that he had. Like they showed the intimate and the love story as well. So I liked their whole edit and their flow of their love story and everything. It was great.
Totally.
Oh yeah, when he had the you're my Sunday morning, I'm like, okay, great. Like I was truly, the tears were coming. I had chills all over my body. We had a full wraparound from his ITM the other day, and it was beautiful. And I'm also just like, can you imagine sitting across and having someone say that to you? I was like, wow. I mean,
and she's 25. I'm looking now too. It's too. Like a lot of younger girls. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my young
Riley's
queen.
also one of the flair for the dramatic because he kept fucking with Marissa. Like when he was doing the whole, even the whisper in the ear that he's not sure. He was sure.
I know.
Like I feel like he just wanted to, make some good TV
Why
or something.
are you doing this?
I know, this poor woman, man. She was through the roller coaster.
I'm also like, Riley, she's sensitive.
Yeah.
I remember someone saying, like, joking around, like it wasn't a day if Marissa wasn't crying. Like she's an emotional queen.
And I'm like, she did say that's right. Like, me. What the fuck? Like,
why are you doing this?
Yeah, I like that she was like really emotional, but she also seemed really secure in their relationship at the same time. Even though it seemed like she was sobbing every other moment, being like, "Is he gonna dump me?" She was also seemed like she was really confident in their relationship. So it's kind of a cute balance between that.
Yeah.
But like you said, Blake, honestly, I think the strongest couples coming out we've seen in a while.
Period.
No breakups. In fact, more people getting together.
That's true. Because you had more people getting together post show. Yeah.
Yes. Post the filming. God. And also we're forgetting random Chris and Alana have been dating for months.
That's right. Yeah. I hung out with them in Chicago recently. They came to my show and they were adorable together.
So everyone worked out pretty much.
Season's crazy.
That's so funny.
Soon we're going to be seeing posts and it's like Aaron and T are actually seeing each other again, and James and Anna. Like, they were spotted out. You're like, oh my God, everyone's actually working who connected on the beach.
I just looked up them now on Instagram. Yeah, weird. Chris and Alana.
Wild, right?
Everybody's finding love, It's crazy.
Boring as fuck season. That's for sure.
If it wasn't for the Brennan and Piper stuff, this season would have been real boring.
Oh my God, for real.
Honestly, that was truly it.
It started out
strong. Really slow.
We had high hopes the first couple episodes. We're like, oh, this is gonna be,
but
kind of fizzled out.
People found love, and now we have Michelle's season around the corner.
Yes, I'm excited. I love Michelle.
I'm pumped.
She's so fun. She's great TV. She's great. I can't wait to see her season. Yeah.
And it was so obsessed with her, but also it was so exciting to see a preview that looked like a real season. Finally, it didn't look like a COVID season. It was like, oh my God,
even though they're in the LA area, I'm like, there's the Palm Springs tramway. There's I'm like
we're moving around,
but there's lots to do in California.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited for her season because I think she's one of the more genuine people to ever come on the show as well.
For sure.
So I'm super excited for her season. It's gonna be fun.
Blake, on your end, anything new going on? Anyone you're seeing? Any drama, tea? Or is your life pretty drama free right now? Yeah,
it's been very nice. It's been very, drama free. I'm single, dating and everything, but nothing really stick. I've just been busy. I've been really busy, doing a lot of different things, and it's been nice. It's been good. It's been exhausting, but I feel like I'm trying to break away from Bachelor Nation to a degree. Yeah. But then also stay I love a lot of people in Bachelor Nation. And so I don't want to cut these people out of my life, I want to try and find that nice balance, which I think you've done a good job of, Becca. I think you've done a good job of finding that balance. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is finding that balance.
Just out of curiosity, how do you date on dating apps, or how do you generally date?
This is funny. So I am on dating apps, but honestly, the only reason I'm on dating apps is because I have my @ on there and I get a lot of followers. I'm gonna get hate for that, but whatever.
Why would you get hate for that? It's like, God bless.
When I go to new cities, I'll just throw on that I'm in the city, and then I won't look at it again, and I'll get a few hundred followers because I put my @ on the Instagram or the Hinge or the Bumble and all those. Yeah.
I guess I could try that, but then it might backfire. What the fuck? This crazy one has 2 kids and a boyfriend.
I've gone on one Bumble date, but it was before the show. I really haven't I guess dating more, honestly, it goes down the DMs. It goes down the DMs.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And that's not even like, I think it used to be like a dirty thing.
Yeah.
Like nowadays,
No.
like people legitimately meet in the DMs and stuff. So yeah, it kind of goes down the DMs more than anything, but that's not an invitation to like suddenly like DM me some weird shit. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a weird place in there sometimes. So yeah.
Come prepared with some conversation.
Yeah. Don't be sending some weird videos and stuff. That,
For real, it's like if I'm not asking for it, so please.
Yeah, it's unsolicited vagina pics. Is that
you're like, I don't
unsolicited.
please
Work up to it.
Robert.
Let's just no unsolicited, everyone.
No.
Make sure you
No.
solicited
Okay.
anything. Yeah, exactly.
I would imagine too also, so you're doing all these DJing shows, which is incredible. I would be like, that's how I'd want to like feel like I'd meet someone, it's fun.
Yeah. Because I get asked a lot, and it's a valid question. I think, people are like, can you have a relationship if you're like traveling every weekend and you're playing for thousands of women that are fucking throwing their bras at you? I'm like, obviously, like, I think it's hard to maybe meet somebody, but like once I'm in a relationship, yeah, 100%, it'd be totally fine because like there's a ton of artists, musicians, and everybody, who are in relationships and they were just fine. I just wouldn't go to the after party. I just wouldn't have girls in my VIP, Sure. So like in that sense, it'd totally be fine to be in a relationship and have the kind of life because I only work 3 days a week, really,
Yeah.
Friday,
I'll
Saturday.
tell you this as a wife of one. And for many years, like he was gone for like months at a time. And it's like, it's definitely like it's important to find the type of person who's comfortable with that situation. But as like, it's like if you're a good person, yeah, you're around certain things, but you can still say no if that's what your partner, if that's what the agreed upon situation is.
It's like, not the career, it's the character. That's what I always say.
Exactly.
It's not the career, it's the character. You can have a lot of people out there in suits and ties going away for the weekends, cheating and being dishonest just as much as you have an artist and a musician and all that stuff.
1000%. And also as the partner, when your partner gets to have those fun opportunities, it's like, if anything, I'm like, well, sometimes I get to show up and it's a good time.
100%.
I'm like, this is fun. I get to have a wristband and I get to go and have a great time too. And yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
like
what's your DJ thing? Where do people find like where do women show up?
So there's some things in the works here, but I don't have a SoundCloud now, but I'm going to have some original music coming out here soon. Yeah, I'm really excited about. But yeah, for the most part, I guess honestly, just keep up with my Instagram because I'm I'm in 8 cities this month. I'm in San Diego here in 2 weeks. I'm like opening up for like the Chainsmokers and stuff. Like
Fun.
nuts. Yeah.
Hey,
this big festival.
congratulations.
Thank you. So it's going in the right direction. And it wasn't a career I ever really let myself like think, because like you never think like I'm gonna be a successful DJ. Like it's not something you think because you're almost scared, to like try for it. And this show has given me the opportunity. Like I was still making income while I could try this out, and it turns out like I love it, So in that sense, I'm really happy I found my passion and everything. So it's something I'm gonna do for a while. So yeah, keep an eye out. And if I'm ever in your city, come on by. A lot of Bachelor people come out. So.
Where does everyone find you? Instagram, podcast, anything else?
Yeah. Instagram, balockae.h. So BALOCKAYE.h on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't really tweet. And then, my podcast, Behind the Rose Podcast.
Yes.
We talk, yes. It talk everything kind of reality TV. And then we also have a lot of really fun musicians on, up and coming and legendary musicians, and talk about how they made it in that world and everything. So it's a fun change up between like reality TV and music. So yeah,
cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, Blake, thanks
you
so
much.
so much for coming on today. This was so much fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah,
for all of your insight, broads, make sure to check out all of Blake's shows. Show up to the San Diego show and let the Chainsmokers know you are there to see Blake, not them. Fuck them.
If you guys want to come down, I mean, it's not far.
When is it actually?
Honestly, tell me, because
next weekend, so the 14th through the 16th. It's on the beach. It's the lineup's insane. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's my birthday weekend, so maybe I'll make you come with me. Becca.
I'll be gone.
Let me know. Oh, boo.
I'm out of town.
But thank you so much, and broads, we'll chat soon.
Chat soon.